What is going on, everybody? We are going to be going over today how I was able to, and Nathan Valley, over doing 10,000 hours of wholesaling, how we're able to find the best structure for wholesaling, okay? Best schedule. What's up, Nathan Valley? Tell us who you are.
What is going on, guys? My name is Nathan Valley. I've done a whole bunch of deals, bunch of different states. Some of you might know me for locking up over 100 contracts in a single year. Some of you might have seen a 30-day challenge I did a while ago. It's where I picked a totally brand new market, no contacts, no resources, nothing. And I did a deal in 30 days without spending any money on marketing. And it was a $20,000 deal, which is pretty cool. But that's a little bit about me. And yeah, I mean, oh gosh, I haven't penciled it out, but I mean, I know I easily have well over 10,000 hours in wholesaling as well.
Yeah, and what do they
scheduling is so important. Like, guys, the schedule, your habits, that will make or break your success. 100%.
Exactly. Now, I know a lot of us probably just kind of fly by the seat of our pants every day. We just wake up and we're like, well, it's time to go to work. But hey, I'm here to help you guys solve that problem. We have a recommended daily schedule that I've come up with. And also I have a planner that I've created that not only tracks like your KPIs for the day, but also it holds you accountable. You know, I'll show you. I'll break it down, but let's dive right in, Nathan Valley. So, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Nathan Payne. Been wholesaling for a while, and I love it. All right, and I love working and helping people succeed. So, let's dive right into this. Nathan, can you see it pretty good on your screen?
I can, brother.
Okay, so this is the recommended daily schedule, and we're just gonna kind of break it down and talk about why we have it set up like this. And you know, I want to get your opinion too, Nathan, because I made this. I know we agree on most of it, but I kind of want to get your feedback. Is that cool? We're just gonna break it down.
Dude, absolutely, man. I love.
So waking up early. When I first got into wholesaling, I was like, man, I don't need to wake up early. Forget that, right? But as I wanted to progress and get better at like being just a better entrepreneur, a better person, I started waking up earlier and earlier. So I wake up at 5 a.m. Not for everybody, but it enables me to do specific things before I get to work, because I believe you need to get to work and be prepared for work, not just jump in and roll out of bed and start calling people. But anyway, I do these specific things on the right hand side, the activities I call my daily disciplines. That's praying, drinking water, quick hit workout, reading my scriptures, affirmations, reading good books, gratitude journals. I know that might be a lot for people, so just pick one, but that's me, Nate. Nate, do you do stuff like that too? I know you do, but you want to talk about your thoughts?
Yeah. Really good question. So my schedule has actually changed a lot over the years. So I went from, and guys, I used to always be like a night owl, to where like I'll stay up to like 2-3 in the morning and sleep till like 10. And I never thought I'd be a morning person. And then, you know, when I wanted to get into entrepreneurship and business and all that good stuff, just flipped the switch. And overnight I started waking up at like 4:30 a.m. And it doesn't have to be, you know, 4 a.m. or 4:30, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be 5, but being able to get up early, whether that's 5, 6, whatever, pick a time to where it's early, but you're not like killed for the whole day, right? And it will feel like that, especially when you first get started. So give it some time, but being able to get up early and get started when the rest of the world is like still quiet, man, it's kind of hard to put into words. It really does have a huge impact.
It's a beautiful thing for sure.
Yeah. And so some of the things I used to do, for me, I'm a big fan of kind of cold showers, cold plunges. So I've been doing that for, and I don't even know how many years now. Yeah, guys, I've been doing it for years, and it still sucks every single day.
Before it was cool.
Yeah. Before it was cool. So ice, you know, something ice cold, whether it's an ice cold plunge or an ice cold shower. That's what I do first thing. I wake up, drink water, ice cold shower. Then, I would do workout. So typically I would go to the gym, and that would take up a pretty big chunk of time. And then I'd come home, read, and then, you know, a little bit of meditation, and then I'd get rocking and rolling. But I will say my schedule has changed, right? So I think a lot also depends on who you are and the circumstances that you're in. Some of you might, like I have a 2.5-year-old now. Schedule changed a little bit.
It did, didn't it? Yes, it did.
So the one thing for me personally is find out, like, what are the rock habits for you? Like for me, waking up and doing the cold, like on time, and doing the cold shower. If I do those two things, rest of my day is going to be pretty spot on. If I miss those two things, if I don't wake up on time when I'm supposed to, and I don't get that cold shower in, like whole day is kind of out of whack. So those are two of my rock, and then kind of the workout is the other big one. Sometimes I'll skip reading, sometimes I'll skip the meditation part. But
some people are different. I'm different. I gotta pray. I gotta do my gratitude journal. I gotta read the word. That's me, but totally different. So let's move on to the next thing. So why do I have returning phone calls and calling leads, asking for appointments or scheduling appointments, follow up that early? Is because you want to get the most important things done, in my opinion, at the beginning of the day. Okay. So returning phone calls, again, that's not just returning any phone call. That's returning the phone calls, calling leads that are highest priority. Okay. Follow-ups and stuff.
Real quick. So you're following up on leads 7:30 in the morning. Am I reading that right?
I definitely recommend, depending if you're doing virtual and if people are awake at that time, but I would say you want to do it the first thing. People are awake before they go to work, and it's a good time to get a hold of people.
That's it. I just want to talk about this for 1 second, because I do think it's really important. A lot of people that I chat with, they're afraid to call, like even at like 9 a.m. Now, I usually 8 a.m. is kind of the cutoff for me. So like usually 8 is kind of the earliest I like to reach out. I will 7, like if you kind of spoke to the person, you can get a feel for what type of person they might be, or what type of person they might, or what type of time they might be getting up. Maybe like in that 7:30 to 8 range. But that's interesting. So 7. And guys, a really good thing to take in mind.
Savage, bro. If you're a savage, if you're like, I'm gonna call, I don't care. I got to get my calls in.
Well, guys, when it's a motivated seller, right? Like, guys, they've got pretty big problems that they need you to solve for them, right? Like if somebody's in pre-foreclosure, or they're going through a divorce, or it's a probate, or whatever. Like we worked with just distressed sellers and distressed situations. Like, guys, if I've got a massive problem, like a huge problem, and you've got a solution, guys, I don't like if we've already talked and I'm like, yeah, I want that solution, guys, you can call me at 4 a.m. You get I'll be happy.
I'll also say this, Nate, that the amount of people that are calling at that time is so low, your competition, that people that are getting these calls are probably like, what the heck? Who is this? Right.
That is 100%. Like you guys will find your contact rates will be so much better during that time, especially if you've been trying to follow up with somebody and you can't at that time. But the most important thing is guys, find the best times, the most effective times to get on the phone with someone. And whether that's really early or whether that's really late, whatever the case may be, do whatever it is that is required to get that deal done.
There you go. All right. So we have that. We went over that one. 8 to 8:45 role play, practice your scripts, and organize leads. So guys, this schedule is also for like newer wholesalers. Like I would say I don't practice my scripts every day, but I would say if you're starting out, definitely be practicing the scripts. I used to not care so much about scripts. I'd be like, who cares? I can just flow, which is okay, but it's much better. It's much better to follow a structure, especially when you're first starting. You don't really know what to say. I go back and I'm like, okay, I was reading scripts all the time because I was so nervous I didn't want to mess anything up. So reading scripts, getting that flow down, super important. Make sure you're practicing that every day. All right, everybody. What do you got on that, Nate? Do you agree?
100%. Yeah, guys, especially when you're newer, when you're getting started, practice. And again, don't just look it over, read through it, then say it out loud. You really should have your scripts memorized, because if you don't have them memorized, in and out, it's going to sound robotic when you're on the phone. Right. And again, guys, the whole purpose behind all of this, right? Like, why practice the script first thing in the morning? Why do I need to do the cold shower? Why do I need to work out in the morning? Why do I need to meditate? It's to prime you for the entire rest of the day. Right. It's like, if I'm going to be a top athlete and play a sport, I'm going to have a warm up, right? I'm going to warm up. I'm going to go through the motions. I'm going to get a couple practice shots in. And so that way, when that whistle blows and it's game time, which is 9 a.m., right, on this schedule,
that's it.
Boom, I'm ready to go. My muscles are warm. I'm ready. I'm in the zone. I'm primed. Boom, 100%.
Love it. Thanks, brother. So 8:45 to 9 p.m., 9 a.m., what I like to do is I like to plan my day. Now, this is a skill that I did not have in the very beginning. I'll say that. Like, I was not good at planning my day. I really didn't even know what to plan. But that's why we're going to be going over that today. I would invite all of you to plan your day so you are structured. Because if you're just being very reactive to like calls that come in, emails that come in, thinking, oh, okay, I got to put out this fire, I got to put out this fire. A lot of these things distract us from accomplishing our goals and getting deals because you're always in a reactive state. You need to know exactly what you need to do. That's why following a schedule is important, because you'll be surprised. You'll go a week, 2 weeks, a month, and you'll realize you didn't really do that many things that lead to getting deals, right? You just did a bunch of stuff that you thought was important when in all reality, it didn't help you get close to your goal of making more money, right? Revenue generating activities. So anyway, plan your day, be structured. Let's go right up into here. So from 9 to 11:30, it's a follow-up daily routine. You want to follow up and you want to prospect. I would say prospecting when you first get started, Nate, the most important thing. Like it's that, what is that book, Ready, Fire, Aim? He says you just have to focus on sales like up until you're like at $1 million. It's kind of like when you first get started wholesaling, you got to focus on talking to people, right? You got to have those conversations, because if you do everything but have conversations, good luck, right? This is a people business.
Yeah, guys, and especially when getting started, volume kind of minimizes skill, right? Volume negates luck. So if we're both playing basketball, I might be the best in the world, but if I take 3 shots, and you might be horrible, but if you take 3,000 shots, who's going to make more baskets? It still might be me, but doing doing that much more volume, well, the chances of you kind of scoring that, it's going to be pretty high up there. Right? So, again, guys, prospecting, and one of the downfalls, especially with wholesaling, is, and this is gonna kind of hit home for a lot of people. We prospect, right? We do a little bit of work, and then we get that one lead, right? That one magic lead, and like we hold it, and we're like, oh my gosh, like this is my golden ticket. And it's like, and the thing is because you're not doing more prospecting, because you aren't getting more leads coming in, it makes you screw up on all the things with that lead.
You drop everything,
right? Whether it is or is not even a decent, a lot of times it's not even a decent lead. It's just, you don't have enough experience to really recognize that yet. But even if it is a decent lead, you kind of become a little bit too needy with it, right? And you hold it like a little bit too close. And so you make all these mistakes. Whereas, guys, like one of the fundamentals with sales and negotiating, the person that wins is the person that needs the deal the least. So if I've got 100 qualified people coming in every single week saying, yes, I'm a motivated seller, I want to sell cash, all these things, guy, like if someone gives me a hard time or issues pop up or on what, like it, for me, it's sure, like you don't want this deal to happen, no problem. I've got a line out the door of people I can move on to. And that makes you much, much more effective as a negotiator and with closing deals. So again, prospecting, it is so, so, so important.
Love, exactly. I couldn't say it even any better. So when we talk about returning phone calls from 11:30 to 12, that's not so much returning phone calls from sellers, because obviously if a seller calls, you want to answer it. I'm talking like, no offense, but your wife calls. It depends. Like if it's like super, she's going to text you if you don't answer and it's urgent, but like your friend calling. I mean, if you're in a reactive state through work and you're just responding to every call that you get, you're going to be distracted. Right? I get calls all the time while I'm working, and I got to call them later. So you can either wait till the end of the day, or you can take a little 30-minute break before lunch and respond to some calls or respond to some texts. Nate, that's so true for me. I don't know about you, man, but I cannot just be reactive and run like an efficient bit. Like people can't have direct access to you all the time, because you're not going to be able to get anything done. It's kind of like that morning, how beautiful the morning is when no one's reaching out to you. That's why it's so great, because nobody needs you.
Yeah, guys, like focus is so important, and I'm sure you already know that and you hear time and time again, but it really, really is. My phone has been on 24/7 do not disturb for like almost a decade now, right? Like, and my family knows it. Like nine times out of 10, more like 99 times out of 100, like I don't pick up. right? Like my wife, if I'm in the middle of something, like she needs to call 2 or 3 times in order for me to pick it. Like she knows that, right? Now normally she'll text me. But but having kind of that do not, because like guys, the friend group chat, you know, your buddy texting you or your girlfriend texting you or whatever the case may be, got like you need to put that aside because every one of those things, even though it's like, oh, just half a second, it's just half a second, that Facebook notification, that this, that, it is not important. And every single one of those kind of just those really, really small fractional interruptions, it's breaking your focus, breaking your momentum, breaking your focus. Like every little bit. Think of like you're running a marathon and imagine, you know, you keep kind of running and in your stride, it's just like you're a little bit off balance, just a little bit off step, just a little bit. And it might not be that big of a deal, like right there in that immediate moment, or you might not think so, but all of that wasted energy adds up and you're like, why is my time like why am I so gassed so early? Right? Same thing with business, guys. Focus is so important. And you got it. It's not even so much about what is all the extra things that you have to do and you have to put into your schedule. 80% of it is what is all the waste that I need to cut out. That right there, I promise you'll have plenty of time.
There you go. There you go. And everybody, look, lunch is important. Don't skip lunch. I know a lot of the time for me, I'll try and work while I eat. Guys, it's important to kind of take a break. Just know that if you go out to eat with friends, it usually takes out way more than an hour. You drive somewhere. So just be real with yourself when you do go to lunch. Is it going to take an hour or is it going to take more than an hour? Anyway, it's fine. Enjoy yourselves. But remember, be realistic when you take lunch. Sometimes it can take a long time. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little bit of pushback on this one.
Go ahead.
Like guys, when you're starting out, you like, why are you taking an hour lunch? Again, for people starting out, right? Like you are at the hardest part of the journey. It is getting started, is building that momentum. Like you don't have time to spend an hour, nor do you need an hour lunch, right? 30 minutes is a lot. You can eat pretty quick in 15 minutes, right?
Man.
Meal prep your food, whatever the case may be. An hour, it's just, I'd trim that down to 30 minutes. That's just me personally.
Okay. I dig it.
Guys, it's not saying that has to be for the rest of your life. But again, when you are getting started with wholesaling, right? Like this is the beginning of your journey. Like you need all your focus, all your time, all your energy focused on one thing.
That's right. That's right. No, I agree with you. I agree. Because this is geared towards the new wholesaler, the looking to get their next or their first deal. Next thing we got right here is lead follow-up. You get back from lunch and you're going to follow up with your leads and you're going to qualify sellers. Okay. Again, prospecting, qualifying leads. That's the most important thing you can do. 2 to 3:30. Now, let me know your thoughts. I think this is important. When you first get started, you don't really understand the market you're in. You don't really understand what deals look like or, basically, what a deal is. So I think spending an hour and a half a day looking at deals, looking at flips that are on the market, trying to understand what your market is like, not the whole United States, but you're basically where you've decided to market. For example, like in East Cobb in Georgia, East Cobb has the nicest school system in like pretty much East Cobb, like Georgia. I wouldn't say all of Georgia, but basically it's a good school system. So properties are worth way more than other like outside of the school district. So if you get a property that's like outside those school lines, and it's like drops like a ton. But if you don't know that, like if you don't know that this is just the best area to flip properties, and you get a property that's within that school district, and you try to comp it using across the school district, then you're basically not going to make the amount of money that you think you could. Vice versa, like if you get a house under contract and think you're comping it across the lines where the school district is, what I'm just trying to say is understanding your market is important so you don't lose out on deals. And this happens a lot through market research. I would say networking is part of this. Networking with cash buyers is market research. But anyway, Nate, what are your thoughts?
I actually kind of disagree with this one.
Go ahead. Tell me.
The important thing is this is very specific to kind of what we call painless slipping in our process. Like the way we go about our process and the like I don't need to know any market research beforehand. I'm able to learn all of that, and I'm not missing out on opportunity. We are not missing out on opportunities because of the process that we have in place. I would say market research. You can get more market research, in my personal opinion, from marketing and talking to cash buyers than anybody else, right? So I think, and especially when getting
It does
started.
happen as soon as you talk to a cash buyer, they tell you immediately why you have a deal or don't have a deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, just today, we've got a deal that was working. I was getting some really, really good feedback on kind of the neighborhood, and like if you go like just a little bit north, and kind of the price point and all this other great stuff. And it's things to where could I have Googled? Yeah, but I feel like market research is by doing work in your market and by talking to people that are active in your market, whether it's sellers, it's buyers, having those conversations. You will learn more about your market faster than anything else. And I personally, the other reason why I'm not a big fan of it is when we're first getting started, a lot of these things that are other than making calls to sellers, rather than making
People want to
calls and
gravitate towards that because it's easy.
everybody gravitates towards the thing of like, oh, well, I think I need to do some more market research first, or I think I need to do that. And what we're really doing is we're hiding from doing the hard work.
Well, maybe it's good to have it on the schedule so you only do it for that little bit of time, or else they're going to be doing it all the time. I'm just kidding. No,
I
I
will
agree
say,
with
if
you.
you want to do market research, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, and same thing with learning more. But I'm a big proponent of do that stuff at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. Like nobody's answering the phone. Like this is perfect time to where people are awake. It's during the day. Like these are business hours, baby. Like let's make some business. So that's just my opinion.
This is a so-so thing. I like, that's why we're talking about this. This is great because we haven't like dived into this until now. This is my thoughts, right? So 3:30 to 4, return calls, administrative work. What is admin work? Really, it's just like doing the odds and ends with your business. Okay. Now, is it that important? Well, 30 minutes. A lot of people spend like all day and months and weeks on admin stuff. So, there's always little things that are going to come up. And then 4 p.m. on, go on appointments that you set. I know a lot of the time you can go throughout the day and that's the highest priority, but if you can only go after 4, that's a good time because when people are going after work, that's cool. Do more prospecting, go knocking doors, do whatever you got to do, and then or go home, right? So anyway, this is kind of like a rough idea, I would say, of my recommended schedule. Nate did give some great, not pushback, but in the sense he did give us some great thoughts on, don't spend too much time on market research, especially if you do the painless flipping method where you get your research from your cash buyers instead of just sitting there and just thinking you're getting information, right? Like you're learning a lot. But yeah, Nate, anything else you want to say about the recommended routine before we dive into like the planner that I built and what?
Yeah,
You can grab?
the one thing I kind of want to highlight is that last time block there. I just want to say it loud for all the kids in the back. It says 4 p.m. on, right? That's not up. Payne said schedule hard cutoff 4 o'clock. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No, guys, if you are talking to a lead, a seller, an agent, whatever, if you've got something hot on the table, or even if it's not hot yet and you don't know, you're spending all this work prospecting. If they say, hey, when's a better time that we can, have a further conversation, or when, can we set up an appointment? If they say, oh, are you available at 6 o'clock this evening? Guys, don't be like, ooh, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be, just like hanging out, watching TV or eating dinner at that time. Guys, do what is required. Because the thing is, and I see this time and time and time again, and I'm yelling about this because I was guilty of it too. I was so guilty of this, right? So I'm not judging. I want a better future, for you guys, right? So what we'll do is we'll say, ooh, I'm actually sorry, I'm tied up, or I won't be available at that time. Are you available between the hours of 9 to 5 tomorrow, Wednesday, right? And they work or they do whatever, and they're like, no, how about Saturday we chat, or how about Friday, right? And it gets pushed back a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And you pick a time, and the thing is, that is too much time. The lead is lost, the deal's gone, it's dead.
Yeah, time kills all deals.
Time kills all deals, guys. Like, do what is required, and just look at every single one of these things. You're like, ah, it's kind of annoying. Like that doesn't fit perfectly into my schedule. It doesn't fit perfectly into like what I imagined, how this was going to go or what this was going to look like. Every single one of these moments is a test to your commitment, or a test of your commitment to your vision. You have a dream, you have a vision, you have these things you want. But one hiccup pops up, or people are like, nope, I've got a hard cutoff at 5. I'm not willing to go meet with that seller. I have the most respect for him. Gentleman I used to work with, man, he told me a story about a deal he did to where he moved to Michigan. Excuse me. And he had a seller lead. It was a hot lead, but the woman wanted to meet in person. He flew from Michigan to Texas for an in-person appointment to sign the contract.
That's nuts.
That's wild. And you know what? I'm pretty sure he said he made over 40K on that deal. It was like 35, 40K.
That's wild.
Is that worth a couple hours in a plane flight?
Of course. If it goes through, better make sure that goes through.
Guys, when you're first getting started, whether it goes through or it doesn't, that's the kind of commitment that you need, because that's who you're competing against. Like, I love it. And the real is like, there are not many people willing to do that. And so if you are willing to take that appointment at 6, if you are willing to, do that thing, whatever, go that little extra mile, it's great. You don't just get some of the deals, right? What's the difference between first place and second place, guys? Like, look at any sport, anything in history, right? The number one, oh, that's a bit controversial, right? Number one soccer player in the world, right? Or the number one Olympian in whatever sport. Nobody really remembers or cares about number 2. The number 1 person gets all of it. It is completely unfair and disproportionate, right? And the crazy thing, right? So take like Michael Phelps. He would beat people by like a 1/110th, like a 100th of a second. That's crazy. It's like, dude, all those guys are like this close, right? They're like this close to being just as good as him. Well, the thing is he gets first place. He doesn't get just this much more. He gets all of it. He gets all the gold. He gets all the fame. He gets all the sponsor deals, all the money, everything. Same thing, guys. All you have to be is just a little bit better, just a little bit more, so that you're that top dog, and you get all of it. You get all of the deals, all of it.
I love it. Thank you, Nate. That's awesome. So guys, this is a planner that I've created over time. I've studied like a ton of different ways to structure my day. Franklin Day Planner. If you guys remember that, I read this book called Free to Focus. So I basically take, and I use this every day for my personal life. And this is the business one, right? So now Nate, I might get a lot of pushback on you and maybe from a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But for someone that has ADHD and needs to have a system to stay focused and stay structured, this is something that I think you guys should use, or you should at least take principles and concepts from. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go through it. So I'm going to fill this out as if, it was a day, and I'll be quick about it. So basically you just put the date at the top. Let's just put, okay, I just put the date up. Guys, I track what time I get to work, because sometimes I get to work a little bit late. I'm a little lazy. Sometimes I get a little earlier, especially if you're a brand new entrepreneur. You should be keeping track of like your hours, right? Like how much time you're spending working. So I say, okay, start work. I got here at 9:05. I'm a little late today. I need to be here on time. Whatever you want to say. I say, okay, do my daily disciplines. I got here before work. Did I do my daily disciplines? I narrow that down to one thing for new wholesalers. Just pick one thing before work that you can do that will help you get ready for work, whether that's working out, cold shower, reading, praying, anything. Just pick one if you're not doing any of them, and say, and hold yourself accountable by just saying, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't. Okay. So I like to review my life plan. This is the portion where it says, review your life plan and your goals. I like to make sure that what I'm going to do that day aligns with what I actually care about, because a lot of the times we'll do things that we think are important when in all reality, they don't matter to us at all. Okay. So I review my life plan, and this is very meticulous, Nathan, but I actually time myself as I plan my day. And the reason why I time myself is because I've done this before where I don't like hold myself accountable and time myself on a timer. I actually go on my phone and I press start, and my stopwatch starts going. The reason why I do that is in the past, when I just like started planning, I would get distracted and I'd go back and I'd be like, man, it took me like an hour to plan my day, or 45 minutes, 30 minutes. Really, like I'm going through this thing right now. It takes me usually 6 minutes to do this. Okay. So I know it seems like a lot, but it doesn't take that long. And I've got the timer going just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I start timing myself and I review my life plan again. And then I go here to my priority list and I say, okay, what are the things I need to get done today? Now, you don't have to do every little thing, but it's like the most important stuff. So like, for example, if I need to follow up with John and get a contract signed, I'm just going to say follow up with John. Okay. Maybe your VA needs a new list, skip trace or something, needs new list. Let's say you might have to pick up a check from the title company. So the way that I do it is I say, okay, are these things that must be done, should be done, or could be done? Following up with John is a must be done. Let's see, VA list, that's a could be, should be. It's not like the most important thing. And pick up the check, that's a must be, because I want to get that money. So then I prioritize it saying, okay, A1, A2, and B1. Okay. So then we all know we get super zealous and we say like, hey, we can accomplish way more than we really think we can, especially when you have a long list. I used to have long lists when I first started. Now I try to narrow it down to like less than 7 things. Okay. That's why there's 7 spots. But I say, what's the one thing if I can get one thing done today out of my whole list, what's the most important thing? Well, it's following up with John and getting him to sign the contract. Okay. That's the most important thing. If I can end this day and just get that contract signed, it's a good day. Okay. So then I time block the most important things on my time block list. And if you don't have anything to do on your to-do list, I gave you a list of priorities that you can follow. Like prospecting, revenue in first position is number 1 on this side. And then it goes down from like networking, doing planning, and then doing like reading and all that stuff. But anyway, so if John's my number 1 thing, and I know he's not working at 9 a.m., I'm going to do that first thing. Follow up with John. I know that I look at my VA list. I'm like, that's a should be done. I don't need to plan that out yet. Let's plan out picking up the check. I'm going to pick up the check while I'm out prospecting after at this time, because I know that's when I'll be rolling. So and then you obviously, as we showed you the structure of what you should be doing, we know you should be prospecting. So don't forget that. That's not something you need to put here every day, because it's something that reoccurring, right? So you got prospecting, and then you would fill in the remaining things that aren't not necessarily here from looking at that schedule we went through before. But you are going to have specific things that come up and you need to time block them, or you're not going to know when you're going to do it. So that's why I time block. The last thing I do is I say, did I schedule the most important thing on my calendar? Yes, I did. And if I did, circle it. Okay, it's John. All right, that was done. I'm done. That's me planning my day. It's really just looking at the tasks that you have and then putting it on a time block so you know when you're going to do it. So that took me 3 minutes. So Nate, you're probably like, oh my gosh, that seems like a lot. It doesn't take a lot of time. 3 minutes. So now what the heck is the rest of this plan? Like, why do we have this giant thing if it just took 3 minutes to plan the day? So this is how you guys keep track of your numbers. On a very simple system, okay? Because I know there's like tons of different ways to track your KPIs. This is the easiest thing you could ever do, okay? So you're going to start your work. You're going to check your email first thing. You're not going to be reactive and checking your email every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes. That's another thing that's going to distract you. Check it first thing in the morning. Don't check it until lunchtime or like later in the day, because I've had that problem, Nate, where I'm always checking my email. I'm like, what is this coming in? So anyway, just check it once. Do your follow-up tasks, and then start prospecting. That's the number 1 thing that you need to start doing every day, is start prospecting. So I actually say what time I start. So I'm like, okay, well, I got into work at 9:05. So 9:30 is when I started prospecting. And right here, this is a pretty cool thing. I like it because you can start marking how many attempts you have, okay? So let's say you're attempting, and Nate, do you want to kind of tell people what an attempt is? An attempt to reach somebody? Like what would that be? Would that be like not dial? Yeah, like I would say anything is an attempt, like texting, like if you're texting someone, trying to get a hold of someone, calling, knocking, not like a text blast, right? I'm talking about like intentionally trying to reach out to people and trying to make that attempt to reach out. Because we can't control who's going to answer the phone, but we can control how many attempts we make, right? So that's what this is, Nate, and it's just crossing off. And the goal is at least 40 attempts a day. I know if you guys can do at least 40 attempts a day of knocking, texting, calling. Again, this is not a multi-line dialer because you can do 40 attempts in like 5 seconds. We're talking like intentional trying to get a hold of people, and it depends on what kind of list you're hitting. But anyway, so you mark this off one by one so you can keep track of how much you're actually doing. And let's say this day you do 53. You stop at 53 and you end your prospecting at 12 o'clock. So you're like, okay, I did 2 hours and 30 minutes of prospecting. And maybe you're going to do some more later so you can keep that timer going. But I honestly think keeping track of the hours that you're prospecting and your contacts and how many conversations you're having is really the most important thing when you're getting started. Because a lot of the times you're thinking you're doing more than you are. When you actually track, you're like, holy moly, I have not really talked to anyone today, and I've made like 10 phone calls. I've been there. I've been like, oh my gosh, I worked so hard today. And I look at like my history on my phone, and it's literally like 15 dials, or like barely any. So we can, when you jump into this business and you're like, you can think like 8 dials is a lot. It can feel like a lot, Nate. I don't know if you know that, if you feel that way, but it can feel like a ton. So anyway, out of that 53 attempts, let's say you had 18 contacts, and that's conversations. And we're not going to say like they're only conversations with motivated sellers or sellers in general. I would say it's contacts, people you had conversations with, because it's going to be hard to like, well, is that a really good one? Just you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, just keep track of conversations. That's my thought. 18 to, let's say you got one lead from that, and then you set, in this situation, you didn't set an appointment, but that's fine. So that is the main workday. You had the workday startup that came from this book. It basically says, prepare your day. The main workday, this guy doesn't talk about main workday. He talks about end workday, but that's how I would track your effectiveness as a new wholesaler in your main workday. Nate, I'm not done yet. I got the end workday, but I want to get your feedback.
Yeah, man, especially when getting started, guys, tracking the number, like, and making that the goal, right? Like, the focus is always on the result, right? Like, what's the main target that we're after, which is doing a deal. But again, you got to make the day-to-day a game, because if all you look at is, oh, I didn't get a deal today. I didn't get a deal today. I didn't get a deal today. Like, you're going to quit after like 4 days, right? Like, just, I'm being real with you guys. You've got to find the game, again, the game of, did I hit how many attempts, right? Like, what is the work? What are the habits that I'm going to commit to and hit on a daily basis, right? And that becomes what you focus on kind of when you step into that work mode, right? Again, the end target is always, getting a deal, doing a deal. But what are the activities that I can measure, right, to where that is going to be what's the word I'm looking for?
Measurable, attainable.
Yeah. Well, it's just to where it's going to be a good measurement for you hitting that end target.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the main issue, Nate, with goal setting is people like they want to lose weight. So they just keep on looking at the scale and focusing when they really need to focus on their calories in, calories out, and they're working out. Right. But that's not what people focus on. Unfortunately, like in life, they just focus on the result. So unfortunately with real estate, it can take quite a bit of time to see the result. Right. So if you don't have something to hold you accountable and to keep you going, you're going to feel pretty distressed. You're going to feel pretty bad.
Yeah. And even just measuring weight, like in general, like even that is, I would say that's a little bit different from the target. Cause like you're still keeping a consistent measurement on a day-to-day basis of kind of progress and it's not like a 0 or 1 kind of thing.
That's true. Maybe you could say like the end goal would be like to be super jacked or like giant or whatever. And you're like, man, I'm not seeing results. Right. But at least the weight helps.
For me with wholesaling, man, I thought, oh gosh, why haven't I gotten a deal yet? I've been working at this for 3 months. And then I finally learned like, oh, here's kind of like some average KPIs for the activities that I'd been doing. And then I learned like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing cold calling, whatnot. So, okay, some of the KPIs I'm hearing from other people is I need 50 leads to a deal.
And then
Guys,
you realize you had like two leads.
no, I had leads, but not enough. And then I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I know what to measure. I know what I'm working towards, right? And then I also learned how many dials should I make a day? How many contacts should I make a day? How many leads should I be producing a day? And so now I had something to track to where I'm able to see progress. Right. I'm able to see consistent progress on a daily basis. Right. That is the most important thing, guys, is what is, and this is with any target, any goal that you want to go after. How can I see incremental progress, incremental results that, okay, I'm getting closer. Because imagine you start a race, right? And I say, okay, go. And you're like, well, am I running 100 yards? Am I running a mile? Am I running a marathon?
You're like,
right?
just go, buddy.
Like, just run and do it as fast as you can. And you're like, your goal's to finish the race. And you're like, well, I have no clue where the finish line is.
Exactly.
Right? Like, how fast? Like, should I just sprint and like, go crazy right now, or should I pace myself? Right? Knowing where the finish line is matters, right? Not just for, what your day-to-day schedule looks like, but it matters for your psychology, right? So you know, how far am I away? Should I be upset that I'm not at the finish line? Oh no, I shouldn't be upset because I'm running a marathon and I just started 5 minutes ago. So
Nate,
I'm not close.
Yeah, people love sports, but why do they love sports? It's because we keep score. So what's more important than a sporting event, right? Or a game? Your life is more important. Your business is more important. So if you're not keeping score of your business or your life, then I would say you're not going to achieve the goals that you could, right? People are successful without doing what we're showing you, right? Like people can achieve results, but if you want to maximize your results, this is it. You keep score. And this is how you keep score. And obviously, like maybe you have different tactics, but for me, writing this down, printing this thing off, which we give you, if obviously in our free Facebook group, you can join it. We give you this document. Keep score. You're going to achieve your goals if you keep score. So anyway, this is the main workday, and you take this information, you take this daily, and you put it on a weekly tracker, and then you track it for your month, and then you know exactly if you're going to hit your goals or not. I know if you did this for 90 days and you kept track, you would know within 3 weeks if you were going to hit your goal, or even 1 week, you'd know if you're going to hit your goal, because you'd be like, shoot, I've called like 20 people and had one conversation. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think I'm going to hit my goals. I wish I kept track of stuff better when I first started, because I thought the problems were like on sales issues. So I like paid a lot for sales training, thinking I was just not good at sales, to find out that the people I was paying a ton for sales were like, bro, you don't have enough leads, right? You don't have enough leads to talk to even try this out on. You're like trying to convince people that on a cold call dialer, like I was just cold calling people, trying to get people. And I was like, man, I suck at this. It's like, no, you just don't know what you're doing. You just are talking to the wrong people. So anyway, the most important thing after keeping track is holding yourself accountable. Now, a lot of people want to get an accountability partner, which is fine. That's okay if you want to do that. But I'm going to show you guys how you hold yourself accountable and how you become your own accountability partner. All you have to do is ask yourself questions at the end of the day. It's called self-reflection, end workday review. This guy talks about it. It's pretty much, self-reflection is huge, because it, like, you just need to be aware of where you're at, right? And if you just go every day without asking yourself or like acknowledging where you're at, like, you're not going to really be able to know until it's too late, right? So anyway, these are the questions that I ask myself at the end of the day. Did I accomplish my number one task? That's following up with John. Did I do it? Yes. Did you track your numbers? Yes. Okay. And I've had days where I didn't track my numbers and I'm like, oh, man, I suck. Or like, I don't say I suck. I said, man, I need to do better. Okay. Did I stay focused? Social media, I don't care who you are. We know it's a distraction. So I asked myself, did I stay focused? Yes, I did. Did I work at least 2 hours? Believe it or not, a lot of people don't even work at least 2 hours. Okay. When they're entrepreneurs, they're like, they think they did, but they didn't. So did I work at least 2 hours? Yes. Did I focus on helping people? Nate, I love when you say this. Why is it important to focus on helping people? Like, why is that some super important when you first, well, not even get started, but just in general? Why is helping people important in that focus?
Yeah, guys. I mean, like for wholesaling specifically, it's right. The number one thing we're supposed to do is typically the thing we're most afraid of, right? Oh, I'm so afraid to call the sellers. I'm so afraid to call that agent. I'm so afraid to do the prospecting, to do the work, to call the buyers, whatever. When we make it about other people, hey, you know what? I'm going to make this phone call and I'm going to genuinely care more about that person's outcome than they do. When you make that a priority, all that weight's been lifted off because it's not about us anymore. Right? It's the only time we get kind of stressed out and anxious. It's when we're thinking about me. Right? I need to get a deal. I need to make money. I need to do this. If we just kind of put that on pause for 1 second, if we can make the focus, hey, how can I serve this person? How can I help them? Whether it's through something I do or something completely different that has nothing to do with me. How can I just help this person today? Guys, it makes doing the work so much easier. So much easier.
Love it, man. And I know you care about people a lot. That's why we resonate, that we work together, because we really do care and we love it. We love helping people out. So last question that's on here that you can check mark. It would say, did I study and improve my knowledge? Always be improving. Have an audio book. I don't know. I always like to just sharpen the axe, whether that's in business or just in general. I just like to learn. Okay. So make learning the journey, make learning like what you're trying to achieve instead of just like a one-time result. Like, oh, I'll be happy once I do this. Like, no, your progress is exciting, right? Find joy in that. So the last couple questions that I actually write out, and if you guys are like, oh, this is a lot, guys, this takes like 5 minutes as well. This doesn't take very long. What did I do well today? Well, I stayed focused. That was a good one. Okay. What do I need to improve on? My script, I'm not that smooth yet. I need to practice more scripts, right? I need to practice the scripts. What's the next thing? What will you do to improve? Well, you know what? I'm going to commit. I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. yet because that's a little nuts. Let's go 5 a.m. and I'm going to start working out. That's not something I'm doing. Okay. And what did I learn today? I learned about the painless flipping method, right? I think that's an awesome method to leverage people that have experience to do more deals. Okay. So then that's pretty much it, guys. You obviously can scroll back up at the end of the day and just see if you accomplished all your things. If you did not, you can just, it's pretty self-explanatory. I did follow up with John. I did not get my VAs their list, but I'm going to forward that to the next day. And I'm going to pick up my check. So it's in progress, as you can see there. So anyway, Nate, I know this can seem a little overwhelming. It is a lot to write down, but I know this is basically I broke this whole thing down. It's not just to plan your day. It's like it's like a process of working. Like, and I think it's extremely important for someone that's brand new to entrepreneurship. Even myself, dude, like I know having something like this helps me because if I don't follow, like have structure, I'm just going to go and attack what I think is most important when that's not usually what's the most important. We always go for and if you've read the book, 4 Disciplines of Execution, they talk about the whirlwind. We always want to go to what we feel like is the most important thing, or that's like urgent, but usually urgent doesn't mean important. Urgent just makes us feel like it's important because we can get it done and we get that dopamine fix. But getting the results you want, does it seem urgent to prospect today, Nate? No, it doesn't seem urgent to like make some of those calls because you're not going to see the results for those potentially for 30 days, 60 days. But if you can do this consistently, this is the winning formula. There's dudes that can just stay locked in on this and this is all they do. They just like, okay, I got to call and they crush it. They just absolutely crush it. And they have low overhead businesses. They've been doing it. Like I see people all the time that they're wholesaling businesses. It's just like them and a VA, and they just do the work. They go do the work and they crush it. And they build up a pipeline so big over time that they work like a couple months a year and they're good. Right. So, but in the beginning, you have to set yourself up to build up those muscles and build up the endurance. This is not something that you can just hop in and get a 100K deal like after 2 phone calls. Like everybody would be doing that if that was the case. Anyway, Nate, I'm done rambling on. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, last thing I'll say is, guys, whether it's this, this you can get it for free in our Facebook group. But whether it's this or you like kind of a different format better, if there's one takeaway, it is that guys, like, having some way to plan right for success and then tracking and measuring it, like that is important, right? There's a lot of different ways you can go about doing it, but planning for success, tracking it, measuring it, like those are a must. And the one last thing I'll say is, as cool as all of this is, don't you dare let me catch you working on this sheet during prospecting hours when you're supposed to be calling leads, following up with leads, and doing the hard work. No. This is early in the morning time or late at night time. This ain't working time. All right. That's the only thing I will say. So guys, don't kind of use these things as excuses to avoid the hard work. Right. Because that is what's going to keep you unsuccessful with wholesaling forever.
That's it. And I created this, guys, so you could do the hard work, because I know it's hard to do the hard work. Execution is the hardest thing. Like, this is the thing I want to say. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to talk to you guys directly. Look, we were just like, in the past, we were in the industrial age. They're calling this age the age of wisdom, the age of knowledge. Okay. Like, the information is out there. You can go ask Gemini. Apparently Google has an AI thing now. Gemini, you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask any of them. They're going to give you the formula to a wholesale. The information's out there. It's not that difficult. What is hard? Execution. Doing the work. That's the hardest thing. That's why there's so many people that want to be business owners and entrepreneurs, and the ones that fail, because there's ones that think it sounds cool and they do all the admin stuff and they do the stuff that's easy, but they don't focus on the revenue generating activity, which is normally you have to actually work. You have to do hard things sometimes, right? So that's what I got to say is, execution is everything. Ideas are easy. Execution is everything. The idea of wholesaling, extremely easy, right, Nate? Like, just find a discounted property and find a buyer that'll pay more. That's pretty dang easy. Now go do it, right? That's why we have these things in place, so you can take action, and they will help you. Do you agree, Nate?
100%, man. And I think our man William Jones here had a question. How do they get their hands on the schedule?
Easy, easy, easy. We got this for you. Let me actually show you exactly how to get there. You guys can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys go over to our Facebook group, Painless. Oh, shoot. I need to make us smaller. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So if you guys go to the Painless Flipping free Facebook group, if you request, we got some people requesting to get in right now, which is nice. We'll let them in. But all you have to do is you just have to go to the guide section. That's it. Or you can go to start here, watch a welcome video so you know where everything is. And it says start number 1. Go to the guide section, and to go to our free course, you go to the guide section. It's right here. You're going to get the link just in the first guide right there. Bam, right there. That's it. You get it right here. You can click on it, and I'll even show you guys how to print it off, because it's important. I think you guys should print this off. This is the whole action plan. We got the schedule. Obviously, the routine, the scheduler is in there, plus the routine that I recommend. But if you guys just go here to download, and you go to PDF print, so you can go to the library, or you can print this off at your house. You just download it, print that bad boy off. Absolutely. Guys, I spent tons of time working on this because I was tired of people not getting results because they're like, man, this doesn't work. It's like, no, you're just expectations and what you need to do. You're just not familiar with exactly what you need to be doing in order to see the results. So I made something and said, 90 days, do this. You will get a deal, period. If you don't, talk to me. And it's mainly probably like little tweaks, little baby tweaks that if you did and you took the action, that would enable you to 10x it. Not just like do a deal. I'm talking like 10x it if you just tweak stuff and you're taking this action. That I answered your question. Did I answer your question, buddy?
I think so. They know where to find it.
They know where to find it. It's in there. All right. Anything else? Guys, if you're watching this and you enjoyed this, please, I know went a while, but hey, in order to say important things, it takes time. And I know people want that information ASAP, but hey, that's what we got to say. If you like this, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share with your friends, and join our Facebook group. We'd love to work with you. And if you want to work with us individually in our apprenticeship, go to painlessflipping.com, book a call. We'd love to work with you. And Also, batch leads. Don't forget, this is, we're going live on Batch's YouTube channel. If you guys don't have Batch yet, give it a shot. They do free skip tracing with a 7-day free trial. You can skip trace, and after that, they give you up to 10,000 skip traces for free if you continue. So it's pretty dope. Anything else, Nate?
That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time.
Peace out, everybody. William Jones. Thank you.